much. These are some amazing people to follow. I'm so excited about this election because we are making a difference, and together we're making a difference. I've been teaching for 18 years in the school district, and I've always been an advocate for kids. I'm also a parent of a 16-year-old in our local high schools, and I'm a United States Air Force veteran. I served during 9/11 and overseas in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom in a medical evacuation squadron. So going into help people and save people is not new for me, and it runs very deep. And so I am excited to do this. What does the superintendent of the county office of education do? It's one of the most important jobs in our county, and the one least that you have at least amount of information about. She oversees a school. There's 102 kids dedicated to her school, as well as over 700 preschoolers. She looks over teacher credentials and administrative credentials, and they have a mentoring program here locally in Santa Barbara. She also oversees facilities, budgets, signs off on budgets. She has sole authority to sign off on funds that go to the local districts. There's 20 local districts, and she has the ability to sign off on those funds. Out of the 102 kids that she has assigned to her, I'm going to get into some of the problems. There's a lot of problems, but I'm just going to touch on a few. Out of her 102 students that are assigned to her right now, 0 are literate in English and math. And those are the students that are most closely under her wing. We have 67,000 students in our county. Over half of them are below state achievement levels in reading, and over 2/3 of them are not proficient in math. And so the outcomes of our county are below poverty level, I would say. She oversees $100 million at the County Office of Education. If you add up the funds for all 20 districts, it's $1.1 billion. So I would say the outcomes for the investment are not in the positive, they're in the negative. And we can do something about that in this election. Another problem is that nobody has run against this position for the last 40 years. There has not been somebody who's come forward to be elected, and so there hasn't been the oversight and there hasn't been the accountability needed in order to make sure our kids are being educated. I have some priorities in this election. Some of my priorities, which I feel like I've already demonstrated, one of them is transparency. Making curriculums available for parents to see. Bringing transparency to budgets and showing people where the money is going. I did the YouTube video, and I've done other videos since I ran for this position. And, when I put my name on the ballot, they filed a lawsuit against me to get me off the ballot. That tells me we're going in the right direction. If you would like to see the YouTube video, just Google me on YouTube and you can hear the whole story. They do not want to lose the power of this position. It's a very powerful position, and they know it, and they're working hard to fight against that. So priority number 1, transparency. Priority number 2, good student outcomes. Using curriculum that works, using curriculum that has outcomes and will educate the children of our county and give them a hope in a future. They say that mental illness is a crisis right now. Well, part of that's because they're not learning. And they need to be learning, and they need to be doing things that they feel good about. And if they're not learning, then they're not going to feel good. And so we need to turn that around. We need our schools to be safe. Safety is a priority. Just like Mike, I got endorsed by the Santa Barbara Deputy Sheriff's Association because they know that in our school to prison pipeline that we currently have right now, that young people grow up into adults and then they have to deal with them. And so we need to teach them on a very young, really young age that it matters, that rules matter, that authority matters, and that they need to follow those rules and follow authority. And we need to start that at a very young age. So safety is a priority. Nonpartisanship. We cannot be teaching kids closed-minded thinking and a lot of the stuff that Eric Early talked about, the critical race theory and all the things that go along with that. It's not the necessarily, well, it is the subject matter that's being taught, but really It's about the mindset that they're creating in these little kids. And it's going to be a mindset that's very hard to come back from if we don't do something about it now. The last is engage leadership. We need leaders who are going to listen. We need leaders who have vision and good leadership skills. Right now, that is what the county superintendent of schools is lacking. There's no vision and there's no good leadership. And so we need to not just replace my position, but we need to replace positions on the county board of education. We need to replace positions on the local school boards, and we need to put people in place that are going to do something about these problems. And we're not going to fight this if we do not replace those positions. So we need people to step up and to roll up their sleeves, just as we have all done, so that we can take back our schools and we can take back our communities. There's 58 superintendents in the state of California, and I really think that this position is what's undermining our communities. Yes. And in Santa Barbara specifically, for the last 15 years, they have been indoctrinating teachers and students and parents, and all of those people have grown up. And they are voting now, and they are in the community, and we are seeing the effects of what this has done to our state. And so, like Eric early talked about, there's 58 superintendents, and we get to be the first in the state to show what a difference this position can make. And so that's part of the plan. Some of the solutions that I have, we're going to start a literacy task force right away. We are going to sit down with the nonprofits and the consultants that are hired by the district, by the County Board of Education, and as much as we can in the districts. And we are going to see what the outcomes are for all this money, all these millions of dollars that we're paying to these people, and the outcomes that are, in my opinion, probably not happening. And we are going to cancel contracts that are not legitimate and not providing resources and education and the things that students need in the classroom. So I would say, if, like Mr. Tremino talked about, this is a David and Goliath moment, and we are fighting Goliath. And I would say that you guys are the Davids. You are the ones, and we are the smooth stones. So you take your smooth stone, and you throw it at the giant and take him out. And that's what we have to do. That's how we're going to win this race. It is going to be won by word of mouth, because my signs will not stay in the ground in Santa Barbara. They keep getting stolen. So it's not about the signs, it's about the vote. So make sure you vote. Make sure you tell your friends to vote. Make sure you tell your neighbors to vote. Make sure you tell people at the grocery store to vote. I mean, probably the most beautiful thing that I've seen during this campaign is how much energy has been created behind my campaign. I mean, mine's the only one that I see, but there's been so much positive energy. There's been money just flowing in like crazy. We're going to go do some TV commercials this week. If you want to support that, we're going all out, because we are sending a message that you are not allowed to touch our kids. You take your hands off of our kids, because we're in charge. And so I thank you guys very much. Thank you for setting this up, Barbara. Thank you for all the work that each one of you is doing, because I know you're all doing a lot of work. We're doing a lot of work, and I know you're doing a lot of work, and you are spreading the word, and you are having those conversations, and those conversations matter. Yes. Those little conversations matter, because this is a very low information position. It's a very low information election, and sometimes they'll just vote for me because they like the sign, or they like the yellow jacket that I'm wearing, or something like that. It doesn't take much. So thank you very much. Take signs. There's donation envelopes. You go on the website. You can Google my name. There's tons of articles, and there's all the information you could ever want.